Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most exciting time before the race in a race weekend where we predict the top 10 of the 2025 Monza Grand Prix, and we will do it randomly. There is no specific order. I'm just gonna chuck in drivers' names and see how the video becomes. First, I am predicting an Oscar Piastri win because Monza is a driver's circuit, and in 2024, if you guys recall, he had a sick overtaking maneuver over his teammate Lando Norris, and the reason why he did not win because Charles Leclerc managed to make the one-stop strategy work, and Oscar Piastri was on a two-stop. Towards the end of the race, he was putting the pressure on, but it was not enough. He ran out of laps. So that is that. So Oscar Piastri P1, I think P2. Nobody else is taking this away from Lando Norris. The McLaren are going to be in a class of one. They have the fastest car on the grid, which we already know about, and on a power circuit like Monza, it's gonna be impossible for anybody, unless Ferrari does some illegal tricks like they did in 2019 with the fuel release valve or something like that. They were releasing more fuel into the engine in 2019. So unless Ferrari comes up with something illegal, I don't think anybody is disturbing the 1 and 2 the way it is. Lando Norris is going to be a little bit on the back foot compared to Oscar Piastri around Monza, and also he's under a lot of pressure in the championship situation. 34 points behind Oscar Piastri. He is under a lot of pressure, and he is known to buckle under pressure. When it is critical that he should deliver, he fails to. So that is that. Now comes the remaining 8 position, and in which it's going to be very exciting. So first, I'm going to go ahead and put Lewis Hamilton as P9. He has a 5-place grid penalty. He's going to qualify around P8 because he shit at qualifying in the ground effect era as well. So he's going to qualify very poorly, and then he's going to start behind, and then he will be stuck in the DRS train in that midfield. And it's going to be very difficult for him to make any kind of overtake because Ferrari is a shitbox. And by strategy and by making a couple of moves here and there, when the car ahead of him does not have DRS and he does, in those type of situations, he will be able to make a couple of overtake maneuvers. And that's basically all she wrote. Then the most interesting ingredient, where the fuck is he? Isaac Hadjar. I am predicting actually a top 5 finish for Isaac Hadjar, so I'm going to go ahead and put him P5. Just for the fuck of it. The first reason why I'm going to say that Isaac Hadjar is going to finish P5 is because of his qualifying performance. He's very good in qualifying the car. And right now we know beyond an iota of doubt that the Visha Cash App Racing Bull is a faster machine compared to the primary Red Bull team. And I'm still waiting for the moment in which Isaac Hadjar or Liam Lawson outperforms Max Verstappen in both qualifying and the race. I think the moment is going to come anytime soon. At the start of the season, I think in Bahrain, I knew that this was going to happen. It was a matter of time when the rookie drivers get used to the car. Like, the only reason why the Visha Cash App Racing Bull is not consistently outperforming the RB21 driven by Verstappen is because these motherfuckers don't have the relevant experience. But now, with every passing weekend, these guys are gaining some experience, and that's why Monza is going to be the weekend where Isaac Hadjar in a Visa Cash App Racing Bull is going to out-qualify and outscore Max Verstappen in the 2025 Monza Grand Prix. Max Verstappen P6 is going to be a frustrating weekend. And I was actually watching the interviews of all of the drivers before the Grand Prix weekend, the Thursday driver wrap. Yuki Tsunoda was talking about the progress that he's been making. Guys, don't laugh. So Yuki Tsunoda, who is struggling to score points and is barely getting out of Q1 these days, and credit to him, he has been making some progress, but not enough to talk about it in the way that he did. So that kind of pissed me off a little bit. So he's probably not going to score any points in this race. And also, he's going to have a bunch of collisions with a bunch of people, which he usually does when you qualify in the midfield in Monza where Yuki Tsunoda is going to qualify, you usually crash into a bunch of people, and the same issue is going to happen with Andreas Kimi Antonelli. He is going to fuck it up once again, and the reason is because he is young and he is more likely to make these mistakes. In Imola, which is also technically an Italian Grand Prix, he bought a lot of his friends, he had a lot of distraction, and he was also worried about his high school exams. So that kind of worked against him, and I think he's going to do a similar kind of mistake in Monza, especially coming after a terrible race in Zandvoort last week. So now, right now, he has a lot of pressure on his young shoulders to go ahead and get a good result in his home Grand Prix. And yeah, he's going to have a lot of distractions. So George Russell is going to finish P3. And trust me, when I say this, it's going to be a very non-dramatic, uninteresting type of P3 finish. Like, it's kind of like does nothing P3 type of situation. So yeah, I mean, he will have his own lonely race. The best thing we can hope is the battle between Charles Leclerc and George Russell. And I think it's time that Ferrari will screw up Charles Leclerc's strategy around Monza. I think it's going to happen this weekend. It's been a while. So Ferrari has been struggling a lot because of their driver's poor performance and the car's issues. But it's been a while since they have, done a classic Ferrari strategy. You can argue that choosing to pit Leclerc in order to cover Kimi Antonelli in Zandvoort was a bad Ferrari strategy call, and it was because it led to Leclerc getting DNF'd. But that was not like a huge catastrophic Ferrari mistake in which they threw away a good chunk of points because of their mental retardation. So that's yet to happen, and I think Leclerc would have a definite sniff at a podium, a realistic chance at a podium, and will have the pace to actually be there. But Ferrari is going to fuck it up. So that's what's going to happen. Then we have 3 positions left. And in these 3 positions, I'm simply going to put the drivers that I want to finish in the points, because let's be honest, all of these type of predictions across the internet are a little bit biased. So I'm going to be a little bit fucking biased as well. So first, who do I want to have a good weekend? Obviously, my favorite rookie, Oliver Bearman. He's going to have a P8. He will finish ahead of Lewis Hamilton because Hamilton's washed. So that's what's going to happen with Oliver Bearman. He's going to finish P8. Then we got P7. Right behind Max Verstappen is Fernando Alonso. He's going to put the car in the points, and he said it that aerodynamically, the car has become a much more stable platform, and that's exactly what you want around Monza. Little bit of stability because there's very less downforce on the car. You want to capitalize as much possible on the straight line speed characteristics of a Formula 1 car around Monza, so you strip away all of the downforce, and a stable car is critical for that. So Fernando Alonso, P7, right behind Max Verstappen. Hopefully he stays in the DRS of Max Verstappen to avoid getting chewed up by Oliver Bearman, because this kid is fast. Then P10, the last point finish, I'm gonna put in Gabriel Bortoleto. Now hear me out, okay? You might be thinking, why not others? But the thing is, Gabriel Bortoleto is a guy who qualifies well. And yes, in Zandvoort, he qualified well, but that didn't work out because he lost like 6 positions within 200 meters at the race start. I get it, but he's not going to fuck up the same mistake. He's not going to do the same mistake twice. He's not Lando Norris, okay? He's not going to ruin the race start back to back in a row, right? So this is how it is going to be. This is the provisional top 10 finishers. Oscar Piastri is going to win from pole position. Lando Norris will have a terrible start. Momentarily, this guy or this guy will overtake Norris, and then Norris will get the position back because he has the faster car, and then Ferrari will somehow screw up Charles Leclerc's opportunity to stay ahead or get undercut or overcut by George Russell, and then he is going to finish fourth just outside of the podium points. This is the weekend in which I'm putting my faith in Isaac Hadjar, the master qualifier. He's definitely going to qualify ahead of Max Verstappen. The only advantage that the RB21 has is that it is actually a very good car in the fast corners. So in Monza, that's the only advantage they have, but there are a couple of chicanes, and in those areas, they are going to lose a little bit of extra time. Not in the hands of Max Verstappen though, but they will lose significantly a huge amount of time in those chicanes and those, corner areas, not corner areas, but corners themselves. And that's why I have put Yuki Tsunoda way outside of the points. This motherfucker ain't gonna finishing the points. Either way, the point that I'm making is that Max Verstappen, and this is a risky, what is it called? It's a risky prediction because the track should suit the RB21, relatively speaking, because it's a fast track. But still, I'm going to go ahead and take the risk of, putting my neck on the line for Isaac Hadjar. Actually, while we are on the topic of Racing Bulls versus Red Bull, I think in Singapore, you guys will see, I know in Singapore, you guys will see definitely that both of these two drivers will outperform the RB21. It's going to happen because Singapore is like a lot of turns, it's a difficult track, and that's where the actual weaknesses of RB21 will be very apparent. He will be somewhere in the midfield, P7 lonely race, and he will finish some points, but I think if Liam Lawson qualifies well, he is shit at qualifying. That's why I have put him outside of the points in Monza as well, because you need to qualify well in order to skip the DRS train and finish in the points. So if Liam Lawson qualifies well in Singapore, then I think both Isaac and Liam will be outperforming the RB21 driven by Max Verstappen in the Singapore Grand Prix 2025. Mark my words. But anyway, we are in Monza right now, and this is the provisional top 10. The race will be mostly... Monza is always an interesting race, so I really want to see a battle between these two, and some sick overtaking moves by Lewis Hamilton as he's climbing to the field. Then, as usual, the qualifying is going to be phenomenal. So, I want to see Lando Norris challenge Oscar Piastri at least. Because in whichever races Lando starts P2 and Oscar starts P1, he loses the position to someone else and becomes P3 in the first lap, which gives the opportunity to Oscar to pull away. And even with the help of safety cars neutralization or whatever it is, he fails to put the pressure on Oscar Piastri. So for a change, I would like to see Lando Norris going ahead and putting some pressure on. Both of the Williams drivers will not finish in the points because of curses. Alexander Albon is actually the one who is most likely to, get some points, but their car is good. They do have some decent straight line speed performance, but I don't think in such a tight midfield and their issues with qualifying, they always are managing something during the qualifying sessions. And the unluckiness of Carlos Sainz and the potential damage that Alexander Albon can accrue at the initial stages of the Grand Prix. All those things considered, I'm just keeping them out for now. But I guess we will see. So this is the provisional top 10. Don't quote me on this shit. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.